So there's a funny thing about power, resources, and representation. And the thing that I think America and a lot of Americans keep missing, right? Which I feel like a lot of Black Americans just haven't had the leisure to like brush over, is that like the descendants of American chattel slavery who are in America, they come from like their bloodline transcends from Africa, and all of the things that we've been like the racial apartheid that was very present in America. Like you can try to brush over it and make it seem like everything's gotten better, but the reality is it was awful, and it was awful for a very long time. And so like African people, like Black African people who I don't know why everyone just assumes that like all Black people all over the world are super poor and will have nothing forever. It's just not the case. Like there's just a fuck ton of Black people, like billions of Black people on planet Earth. Okay, like white people are actually the minority group, and they have a lot of resources, and I think so many of them have done really awful things to gain resources to try to like literally protect their survival, which I feel like this is what Elon Musk is saying. He's like, why are you pushing for genocide of whites in South Africa? And I would just push back on Elon Musk and like really ask the other question, like, why not? Because Africa is the continent for Black people. Not in a joking way. Like, America is the only place on earth where there is a racial melting pot. And I would argue, and I have been arguing this, that it is not working. It like America has taught everyone else that we all need to go back to where we came from. That is what the lesson was. And I feel like we've like imprint, like it's just, and the funny thing is like the tech people don't even see how this is like, this is serious, and this is like the lesson that they've been teaching. Because the reason that I gave that talk about like understanding society through reinforcement learning, sometimes one thing happens and then nobody does anything to change it, right? Like you've had every fucking year since I've been in tech, there's been a Black woman who comes, it's not just one, many Black women who come out and be like, this culture is very toxic. We actually can't survive here. It's so awful. And everyone's like, we don't give a shit. We don't care. Meritocracy is more important. Meritocracy is more important. And then all of a sudden, all these things start happening politically around the globe with like white people. Like we see what's happening in Ukraine. Like people are actually getting blown the fuck up. And all of a sudden, like a whole bunch of like American, like white kids are watching this, and they feel this like empathy and this compassion for their own, as they should. It would be really difficult to be like, oh, imagine how difficult it must be to be like, you know, a small white child and watch currently like in 2023 in 4K, like a whole bunch of, you know, white kids who are in like mines, and their whole lives are just being blown to smithereens by other white people, by like Russians. And then when you get down to the root cause, you know it's about land and resources, and it's wealthier white people who are stealing the land from poorer white people. And then you'd have to watch like Vladimir Putin, literally the person who's doing this, he's now having a whole bunch of meetings with Africa, right? He just like forgave a whole bunch of debt with Africa. He's making these Black allies. Now it kind of destroys a lot of the things that you thought, because like all around America, I thought we were preaching that Black people were the bad ones, and Black people were the devils and all this shit. But all of a sudden, you have to watch like white people killing each other. It has nothing to do with Black people. And now in the Black part of the planet, right, they are saying we don't want any white people here, and you have to hear all of this, and it's like, wait, no, we want, oh no, you have Elon Musk, right, the civil rights leader, I guess. All of a sudden he's like, why isn't anyone speaking up about this? You know what, Elon, you taught us. It's because in America, especially in tech, you guys have all taught us how to hate and how to be hateful, and now the hate just rolls right back to you, and you get to teach your children about whiteness and how whiteness is acceptable in America and it's acceptable in Europe, but it doesn't look like it's acceptable in Africa. And that's a thing, because there's a history of anti-Blackness, and now there's a history of anti-whiteness. So as much as Elon Musk is an African American, and I'm not like an anti-white person, but I understand the world.